The following ethical dilemma is based off a clip from the show Big Little Lies. The show depicts an upper-class group of women covering up a murder. The client in the video clip is seeking counseling to discuss her strained marriage with her husband.
Does he ever hurt the children?
No. God, no. He would never hurt the children. He's a wonderful father. I mean, he's the best. I couldn't think of a better one, really. It's one of the reasons that
The reason you don't leave him?
there are other reasons.
Okay. Such as?
I'm madly in love with him. He adores me. He treats me like a goddess.
When he's not hurting you.
Look, he's a great father. We have great sex. We make each other laugh. There's violence, yes, in the relationship, and that's why we came in, and it's an issue. But, I mean, all marriages are complicated.
You think violence is normal in a relationship?
No.
My apologies, I misread. When this violence occurs, have you ever been afraid you might die?
Never.
Never. That must have been terrifying. Did you think of leaving him then?
I've thought of leaving him many times. But then I think about what we have, and we have a lot.
In this first counseling session, the therapist is upholding her status as a mandated reporter for child abuse by assessing for harm within the family and is gathering more information surrounding the potential for abuse. It is important that the therapist is direct when asking questions regarding abuse of family members. However, clients who are in abusive relationships need a safe space in counseling to feel heard and validated. As revealed in the client's defensive answers and tone of voice, the counselor's comments begin to come across as judgmental. The therapist is beginning to toe the line of imposing their values on the client by asking pointed questions regarding the client leaving their husband instead of letting the client come to that conclusion on their own. In the following session, the therapist continues to overstep the line of professional boundaries by imposing what they think should happen next.
Are there any weapons in your house?
No. No, it's not like that. No. I mean, the boys have some lightsabers. Listen, you see a lot of couples that have bad problems.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, maybe that's all you can see. Do you ever pause to consider what is great in a marriage? What is profoundly right?
I do. Tell me, what is most profoundly right about yours?
We've been through so much together. I had a really tough time getting pregnant, and I had 4 miscarriages, and when the twins were born, they were born really early. And they were in the hospital for a long time, and it was tough. And he was there by my side every step of the way. He was so good.
I see.
No, honestly, I don't think you do see, because this is, it's special, you know. We're bound by everything we've been through, and the idea of breaking away from him, it's like tearing flesh.
How do you think the abuse impacts on your sons?
It doesn't impact on my sons, I'm telling you. None of this affects them. We never fight in front of them. They never see anything. They're fine. They live in a happy household. They have no idea.
He will hit you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll hit him again.
And eventually the boys will know, if they already don't.
Oh.
Our time is about up. We should make an appointment and come up with a plan
A plan?
for the next time he hits you.
Here, the counselor reveals their concern with the abuse occurring in the household. However, as the sessions continue, the counselor begins to overstep and provide their opinionated advice to the client.
When are you going to leave him, Celeste? When he hurts you badly? When he hurts the children?
He will never hurt the
You
children.
need to rent an apartment locally if you don't want to disrupt the boys' school.
Whoa. We're getting way ahead of ourselves here.
No, I don't think so. Stock the refrigerator. Make sure the utilities are paid for. Have the beds set up for the kids. Get it all ready so we can at least remove where on God's earth would I go from the equation. You'll have a place, a mindset, another life standing by should you need it, which we both know you will.
I don't think a therapist should be this, I don't think you should be behaving like this.
I'll get you the number of the Better Business Bureau. You can report me. In the meantime, start documenting the abuse. Write everything down. Photograph your injuries. Keep doctor reports. That could be important in a custody battle. And men like your husband typically do go for custody. He has the resources, the money, the contacts. Most importantly, he has the ego.
In accordance with A4B and B1A from the ACA Code of Ethics, it is a counselor's responsibility to be aware of their own values and maintain awareness and sensitivity to diverse clients. The client in the video is a white female who, based on previous knowledge from the show, is from a high socioeconomic status. Historically, women are socialized to experience basic emotions, such as love, anger, and fear, at a higher frequency than men. Further, women in abusive relationships are more likely to seek help regarding their abusive relationship. Yet, despite the high help-seeking behaviors, it still, on average, takes women 7 attempts to leave an abusive relationship. This makes it even more vital that the therapist respects and validates the women's feelings of fear and shame while providing support and working with the client to develop an appropriate safety plan.
The ethical dilemma presented in the show includes the counselor's responsibility to respect client autonomy and to do no harm while facilitating client safety as it pertains to the domestic abuse. In the initial meeting with the client, the counselor must begin the informed consent process by educating clients on their rights to privacy and the limits to confidentiality. The counselor should be clear about the limitations of confidentiality and their duty to warn if there is potential harm to self or others, or if the counselor suspects child abuse. In Vermont and most states in the U.S., there are clear legal statutes regarding a mental health counselor's duty to report the abuse of children and serious and foreseeable harm to self or others. Additionally, it is illegal to partake in domestic violence, defined by the Vermont Agency of Human Services as a pattern of assault and coercive behaviors that may include actual or threatened physical injury and sexual assault, psychological abuse, economic coercion, and various other tactics. Based on our knowledge of professional ethical standards, this is how we would have approached this ethical dilemma.
Does he ever hurt the children?
In this clip, the therapist begins to assess for abuse occurring within the household. We would have extended this evaluation and performed a thorough assessment, for example, the Index of Spouse Abuse, a self-report scale measuring the degree of abuse and potential for future violence within the family. If it is discovered that there is abuse occurring towards the children, then we are mandated to report within 24 hours to the Department for Child and Families or the police.
When are you going to leave him, Celeste? When he hurts you badly?
Here, the counselor is imposing their judgment and personal values onto the client, that because there is possible abuse, then the only option for the client is to leave the relationship, thus taking away the client's autonomy to make that decision for herself. In this case, we would have validated the client's feelings and explored what the client wants to happen within the relationship. Due to the nature of this ethical dilemma, it is advised that we seek consultation and supervision so that our personal values do not cloud our professional judgment regarding the client.
Rent an apartment locally if you don't want to disrupt the boys' school.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We're getting way ahead of ourselves here.
No, I don't think so. Stock the refrigerator. Make sure the utilities are paid for, have the beds set up for the kids. Get it all ready so we can at least remove where on God's earth would I go from the equation. You'll have a place.
Here, the counselor begins to take the client out of the conversation regarding the safety plan and instead tells the client what she needs to do next. This is unethical as it violates the client's autonomy and our primary responsibility to respect the client's dignity. According to Lawson, a client in a violent relationship should not leave the counselor's office without having an agreed-upon safety plan of action. However, the safety plan must be created with the client to fit the individual's needs and attainable resources. So, we would have followed the client's lead on what they think is an appropriate safety plan.
I don't think you should be behaving like this.
I'll get you the number of the Better Business Bureau and you can report me. In the meantime, start documenting the abuse. Write everything down. Photograph your injuries. Keep doctor reports. That could be important in a custody battle. And men like your husband typically do go for custody. He has the resources, the money, the contacts. Most importantly, he has the ego to see this through.
I don't understand why you're being such an alarmist right now.
Because I'm alarmed.
Here, the counselor outwardly ignores the client's concerns of their unethical advice giving and continues with her formation of the plan without the client. The counselor also lets their personal values interfere with the treatment as revealed by the assumption that there will be a custody battle and that the husband is egotistical. Instead, we would recommend that the counselor focus on the therapeutic relationship and provide empathy towards the client experiencing the domestic abuse. The counselor should be careful in recommending that the client leave the relationship, as that decision should be left to the client.
Overall, counselors must be wary when treating clients in abusive relationships. It can be easy to err on the side of perceived safety and to push the client into leaving the relationship sooner than they are comfortable. Counselors may judge the client for not leaving the relationship sooner, but ultimately, it is of utmost importance that the counselor accepts and respects the client's decision about what to do next. We are ethically obligated to remain aware of our personal beliefs and biases, thus seeking supervision and consultation as needed.